It's a Football Friday on Hot Mic, ready to roll. You'll meet the newest 9-man standout in Western North Dakota. Plus, NDSCS goes for a national championship, and we'll get you ready for the second round of the FCS playoffs. Hot Mic starts now.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning! Welcome to the Suck Me In edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV, good morning everybody in Sioux Falls, KMBN in Western South Dakota, and Inforum.com. Happy Friday! Final Friday of the week. 5th day of December. Ready for some championship football over the next 3 days. Tonight, tomorrow, Sunday. A little bit of everything going on here as we're excited about the upcoming weekend. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. It is a Hoodie Friday. I made the executive call. We were to begin that. I don't have any TV work after today, so we're doing it. I don't care. That's the executive call. And I mentioned we got Sucked In Again edition because we talked about it yesterday briefly. I'm going to hit it later in the show. But later today, right after we're done, actually, the World Cup draw is this morning. And I know for you people that don't care about soccer, you're going to roll your eyes to the back of the heads. I get it. But I care about it like every couple of years. And we're here. This morning, they basically put in 48 countries into ping pong balls, into saucer bowls, and we'll pick them out. And The Athletic has a simulator site. I've been on it for about 45 minutes this morning to determine who we're going to get. The amount of emotion here ranges from despair to delight. We'll play a little bit later on in the show. Lots to get to today. We're on the eve of football tomorrow for the both North Dakota Division I programs playing in big-time playoff games. University of North Dakota is on its way to Texas for a date in the second round against Tarleton State in a game where it feels on the outside, like if Jerry Kaminsky, if I knew his status was full go, I'd be really inclined to pick UND to win the football game. And that's total slight to Tarleton. Tarleton had a great year. They've lost only one game, but they have not seen the physicality of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. And I understand they played Army and beat Army, but it's just not what they play in the United Athletic Conference is not what they are used to. But we don't know Kaminsky's status. North Dakota State is getting ready for its game with Illinois State. Redbirds are on their way to Fargo later this morning for a second matchup this season. You're going to hear from Bryce Lance about matching up with Illinois State for a second time coming up later on in the show. We'll go through all the games coming up tomorrow. We've got championship weekend in the big boy division. We've got 4 games tonight. The Mountain West Championship tonight in Boise between Boise State and UNLV. James Madison plays tonight in the Sun Belt Championship. They win. Likely the Dukes are going to be in the college football playoff when the rankings come out and the bracket is revealed on Sunday morning. You've got the Big Ten Championship tomorrow night. Ohio State, Indiana, 1-2. And think about that. Indiana's playing for the Big Ten Championship tomorrow night against the Ohio State. ACC Championship is Duke and Virginia. You've got the SEC title game. A couple little schools you may have heard of with Georgia and Alabama. So there's no short. It's because it may take up for Sunday. Because Viking fans, I'm sorry, the game with Washington isn't necessarily going to be high up on many radars for this weekend. But looks like J.J. McCarthy back. We'll see if the Vikes can finally score a touchdown, something they haven't done in a couple weeks. There were no lacking of touchdowns last night to start Week 14 of the NFL calendar with Dallas and Detroit meeting. These two teams both needing wins. Both are on the outside of the top 7 in the NFC. The Cowboys off of wins over Philadelphia and Kansas City. They beat the two teams who played in the Super Bowl over the last 2 weeks. The Lions lost on Thanksgiving Day to Green Bay. So that was the backdrop. The Lions wearing all white at home, by the way, making Dallas wear their blues. They were blue to stop Jahmyr Gibbs, who was fantastic last night. He scores to give Detroit early lead. Dak Prescott flustered here, hits Jake Ferguson, the big tight end, who fumbles the football here. Jack Campbell forced to loose. Brian Branch, who unfortunately got hurt later in the game, recovers it. Off the turnover, here come the Lions. David Montgomery, Iowa State grad, gets loose. He scores from 35 yards out, 17-6. Lions, they were up 20-9 at halftime. In the third quarter, here's a tip ball, intercepted. Derek Barnes is there for the pick. Another turnover for Dallas. Off the pick, here comes Detroit. Isaac Taslaw, he's been really good. He scores 27-9 in favor of Detroit. Dallas, though, comes back. CeeDee Lamb comes up, and this is not good if you're a Cowboy fan. Can't make the play. Watch his head here, folks. Slams into the turf. Left the game with a concussion. He had 6 receptions for 121 yards at that point. They do score on this Javonte Williams touchdown, so it's 27-16. They've got Brandon Aubrey. If a drive stops, that's from 63 yards out. And with room to, he's going to make a 70-yarder. Let's just acknowledge that that's going to happen. So it's 27-19. Lions get a field goal to make it 30-19. Dak, is that guy wide open or what? What is Lion defensive coverage? What is happening there for a touchdown to Ryan Florida from 42 yards out? So now it's a game again. It's 30-27. Back come the Lions. Goff here to Jamison Williams. That's a big-time play to set the Lions up inside the Cowboy red zone. Who do you think's going to get the ball? Gibbs right up the gut. Touchdown from 10 yards out. 37-27 Lions. Cowboys get a field goal. 37-30. You don't want to mess with Detroit try and outscore them. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who didn't practice all week, makes the reception here on a slant to set the Lions up. And look out. You get this guy going. His third touchdown of the night for Jahmyr Gibbs. Made it 44-30 in favor of the Lions at that point. They would make a couple stops down the stretch on Dallas. And the Detroit Lions get a win that they absolutely needed to get. 44-30 the final to get to 8-5. Sending the Cowboys to 6-1. Look at the night that Gibbs had. We mentioned the 3 touchdowns. Goff throws for 309 yards and a big-time performance that they needed after struggling on Thanksgiving. Jamison Williams with 96 yards. Dak goes for 376, but 2 critical interceptions. And again, CeeDee Lamb left the game with the injury. So, the playoff standings in the NFC. Again, remember the Bears are number 1. And remember who they play this weekend. Slightly large game there. The Rams are second. The Eagles and Tampa Bay. Those are the division leaders in the NFC. Seattle holds the 5 spot. Packers at 6. And the 49ers at 9-4 are a game up on Detroit. Carolina hanging around as well. They're not out of the race for the NFC South title. And then the Cowboys met. I think their percentage chances went down now to like 9% to make the play. If they won, it would have been about 35%. It isn't for the Lions. They're at 54% with their win last night. So that's the race in the NFC heading here into the final 4 games of the regular season. The Bears have the tiebreaker based on best win percentage in conference games. The Rams hold the 2nd spot because they have the tiebreaker on the head-to-head because they beat Seattle earlier this year. So that's what we expected out of Detroit all this year. It hasn't manifested itself. It even started the first game against the Packers. They had flashes of it. They did it against the Ravens on Monday Night Football, but that offense, when they get going, man, tough to stop there. So that's one FC North team in the books. And I mentioned the other biggie coming up this weekend. We'll pick all the games coming up before we wrap up the show. Last thing before we get rolling here on a busy Friday. If only the Wolves could play the Pelicans the entire season, they'd be 82-0. Because the Pelicans are terrible. Granted, the game Tuesday night, they had to grind out and get an overtime win. Last night, there was no such drama needed. This is a rare fluke in the schedule where the Wolves are playing the Pelicans back-to-back games in New Orleans. We pick it up in the fourth quarter with a Jaden McDaniels stop-and-pop shot, put them up by 2. Now up 5, there's Naz Reid on the alley-oop. Later on, Julius Randle will feed Ant. Cameraman, get over there to the corner as he gets the roll on the 3. Wolves are now up 12. Later in the fourth, Naz will leave it. Julius Randle, former Pelican, drives and scores. Gosh, he was good last night. Randle at 28, puts him up by 12. How about flying in for the defense? Naz comes in with a block. McDaniel says, okay, take it, and the flush. When he gets going, Jaden McDaniels makes this team go. I'm telling you, that was a great step through in the finish. Puts Minnesota up by 13. They were having fun here. A little give and go. Alley-oop slam for McDaniels there. Minnesota scored 37 points in the fourth quarter. And they win it 125-116. The Pelicans, that record is accurate, folks. They are 3-20 on the year. Wolves get to 14-8 with the win. You got to beat the teams that are bad. It's something we've hammered on them over the last couple of years where they struggled. Last year, they were not good against the teams that were beneath them. Off day today, they got the Clippers coming up at Target Center tomorrow night. This is their next stretch here prior to Christmas. A couple of home games coming with the Clippers and the Suns on Monday. Then at Golden State a week from tonight. Then back home for the Kings and the Grizzlies. And then the Thunder. That's 2 weeks from tonight because the NBA Cup will resume next week. And then home for the Bucks and the Knicks. We get to see Cat right before Christmas. And then Christmas night, they've got the Nuggets. So that's a bit of a, I'd say, kind of mediocre stretch there with some teams. Obviously, the Thunder are good. Golden State is are what they are. The Suns are better. Memphis is not good. The Bucks are struggling. The Knicks are okay. And then Denver's out to a good start. So that's what you want to see out of the Wolves, what they did last night in handling a bad Pelicans team without Zion. Before we set up our guest lineup, let's do this now. So, again, I tried to explain it best I could off the top. So later this morning, we're going to find out the schedule and the 48 teams, 48 nations that have qualified. Actually, not even, I think we still have 6 left for spots that are going to be claimed in March for the World Cup that begins in June. Today, they will have the draw. Now, I'll try to explain this as best I can as how I understand it. Because, remember, the United States is hosting Canada and Mexico. They are in specific groups that can't play one another, along with the best teams in the world, like Argentina, England, France, Spain, you name it. Those teams are in the same pot with the USA, so we can't play them. But after that, there are 12 other nations in 3 other pots, in Pot B, Pot C, Pot D, if that makes sense. And then we're going to draw them out for who's going to play where. So the Athletic decided to have some fun this morning with a simulator to describe and who the United States could potentially play. And I've had way too much fun with this morning. So right now, the last one I did before we hit on the air, you can see the United States is paired with Tunisia, Australia, and then a team that has to yet qualify out of Europe, which not ideal. But you can see there's other groups labeled here that are either strong or the group of death, weak, or we want very weak. So let's try it again here. Let's see what we get. We've got Morocco, Norway. No, that's not good. That's not good. Morocco, I believe, made it to the semis the last time. Norway's got Erling Haaland, who's one of the best players in the world, and New Zealand's not very good. That's not the draw we want. If that happens today, it's not. Fox is going to be losing it because I'm not sure if we advance on. Remember, the top 2 make it to the next round. Let's do one more here before we set up the show. Tunisia, Uruguay, and the European qual. That's not great either. I'm not feeling good. Let's get one more. Ooh, there we go. Weak. Qatar, Croatia, and New Zealand. That's what we want. Although Croatia's not bad. But if that somehow happens, that's what we're looking for. We don't want anything like we see very strong with Group H. We don't want the group of death. We've got that enough. So that's coming up after we're done this morning. We'll know when the matches are happening, where they're happening, all that kind of good stuff for this upcoming summer, which the biggest event in the world is the Men's World Cup, which begins in the middle of June. We have got a packed show coming up for you here on this Friday. It's a football feast of guests here today. I mentioned we're going to hear from Bryce Lance coming up in a few minutes, getting ready for NDSU's playoff opener with Illinois State. At 9:35, you're going to meet, we saluted him on our best of the weekend. He might be the next big thing in North Dakota high school football. Ray freshman Ty Barman will join us. Ty was at the Gopher Badger game this weekend, and as part of it, he got an offer from the University of Minnesota and P.J. Fleck after his freshman year of football for the Outlaws. We'll chat with him coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, Izzy will join us. Eric Issendorf in his final game as head coach at NDSCS. The Wildcats are playing for the National Junior College D3 Championship tomorrow against the College of DuPage in Illinois. We'll preview that at 10 o'clock. I'm looking forward to that interview. And at 10:35, we'll wrap up the show in style with my dad and our picks for the week, for Week 14, as we are already into the first week of December. I'm sure he's got some hot takes on the FCS games this weekend, so we'll do that before we wrap up the show at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on a busy Friday. We're just getting started. We come back, you'll hear from Bison captain Bryce Lance and a look at the other playoff games going on this weekend. We're off and rolling, back on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, we're live inside the Fargo Dome for Bison Game Day. North Dakota State, Illinois State. Warm-ups be going on as we're on the air, which is going to be fantastic. The game at noon tomorrow, exclusive on ESPN+. Let me remind everybody, that is exclusive to ESPN+. We cannot televise the game. I know I've got a couple of emails on that already asking, hey, is WDAY going to have the game? We will not tomorrow because of those restrictions going forward. If the Bison win tomorrow, I think there's a better than 50% chance they play on Channel 6 a week from Saturday. We'll know the times, and it won't be till late Saturday night because Rhode Island and UC Davis are playing in that other game at 9 o'clock at night. And the winner of that game will play the winner of the Bison Redbirds game. Because next week, they're the quarterfinal schedule, and I'm getting the cart way before the horse here. I know football coaches will hate that, but there's a game on ESPN next Friday night at 8 o'clock Central, then a game at 11 a.m. next Saturday on ESPN, then 2:30 on ABC. The ESPN Plus game is up in the air. That's exclusive on that. But again, a reminder that we will not have the game tomorrow between the Bison and the Redbirds. A huge feature of tomorrow's game certainly is going to be senior wide receiver Bryce Lance, who for the second time was named a first-team All-League wide receiver. Remarkable considering he had one career catch coming into the 2024 year. Jeff Kolpak and I had a chance to visit with him on Wednesday, get his thoughts on being first-team All-League. We started off with about round 2 with Illinois State and what kind of job they did on him in the first game back in October.
I think a little bit of everything. We've played them before, so we know some of their stuff, but we know Illinois State's a good team. Any team in the Valley is always going to be tough competition, so we're excited for the opportunity.
Was that the one time in that first game that they played you man-on-man that you had a chance to actually do something? Like, what did they do that was so preventative of you getting open?
Yeah, I believe so. They did a good job. I think a lot of teams have been showing different looks, just to switch things up on defense, giving us different looks. But yeah, I think Cole does a great job of identifying when I am in press man coverage and things like that. So, I always trust Cole to make the right call.
How much have you had to adjust knowing the kitchen sink's going to be thrown at you every different day? How difficult is that been?
Yeah, I think a lot of it goes into preparation. I think my coaches do a great job of preparing me and finding ways for me to get open. But yeah, it's definitely different than last year when nobody really knew me. Maybe a little easier last year, but I think I've done a better job as the week's gone on. Seeing those looks and identifying what they're in.
How was the week off?
Good. Got home, got to see some family, ate some good food, rested up a little bit, so it was good.
Is there something about the playoffs? Because you got hot last year during the playoffs. Is there something different about it?
I think, as a collective, we play our best football in December and January. So I think that's how it's been, in this program for a long time. And, we're just keeping that tradition going.
When it's a Valley team, Bryce, is that not necessarily you wouldn't have your attention, but there's a different level because it's a conference team right up?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the Valley, and I respect every team in the Valley. It's the toughest conference in the country. So, they've been through a really tough year, just like, we've played tough teams as well. So I'm just super excited for the opportunity.
Tell me the emotion of finding out when the Shrine Bowl called, get an invite like that from a couple years ago, nobody knowing you, to have this. What was that emotion?
Yeah, super special for sure. But like I told the guys, I think it's just really a testament to this program and, trusting the process. Everyone's journey is different, and I'm just super blessed to have what I had.
How much I know you're worried about the next whatever month, but to have that on the horizon, that's got to be super exciting. That this is a whole different than what Trey went through.
Yeah, definitely different experience for sure. Definitely had to have a little bit of those conversations for sure. But I think we all know what the ultimate goal is at the end of the day.
Was there a preference on post? I mean, does it matter what postseason All-Star game for you?
Good question. I'm not totally familiar with it all. I know there's some difference in leadership with the now the Panini Bowl. So I know there was some. Yeah, there's a lot of talk with those things going on, but not too worried about that stuff right now. I got some time to figure that out.
With Cam's experience there, I'm sure you can ask him what it was like last year. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I know Cam would be willing to help me out with anything, so I'm super happy for that.
So today's signing day, just what comes to your mind of 5 years ago of what that day was like and what these guys are experiencing today?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. I remember we were in COVID. I remember I got on a Zoom call with you. I had some people over, some of my best friends over in my garage and in Mass to sign it. But I'm super excited for those guys. I know we got some absolute dudes and ballers coming in, and I got a chance to meet a few of them. But yeah, I've got to reflect a little bit on my journey, and I'm just so blessed, everything that NDSC has given me, and I'm super excited for those guys, to take part in that experience.
Has this been what you hoped for senior year? I mean, you didn't lose a regular season game. When we talked back in July in Sioux Falls about, hey, we have an opportunity to do something special this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think, I could ask for anything more. Really special group of guys, really special group of coaches, and now we're trying to finish this thing strong.
Be also in the finalists for the Walter Payton. Your brother won it. Describe how special that was.
Yeah, super cool. Very humbling, to be in the same or have my name on the list of a lot of special talent. But I'm super excited for Cole Payton to be in that top three, and I think he should win it, of course. But we'll see how that turns out in January.
How much you slam dunking guys like myself asking you that can Cole throw it?
Yeah, I remember you guys all asking, but I remember my same answer. Like, you guys are going to be surprised. I promise you, he can sling that thing.
Anything on Illinois State's DBs that stand out? Like, all right, this is something, hey, they did this time around to be on the lookout for.
I think just their looks they threw at us, as a collective, safeties and corners wise, I think they did a good job of, dropping guys, showing different coverages, which is good for me. I think, gave me a chance to grow earlier in the season, but yeah, good group of talent for sure.
That's my conversation we had with Bryce Lance earlier this week. Again, that was the talk. You remember that? Not that long ago. But Cole Payton, can he get it down the field? Yeah, that seemed like it worked out all right. Bryce had another great regular season, 7 touchdowns. He's within shot of setting the all-time receiving touchdown mark at North Dakota State. He's 4 back of Zach Fra. Remember, he caught fire last year with, he had 3 touchdowns in the semifinal. He had a touchdown in the national championship. I think he had 2 against Mercer and 2 against Abilene Christian. It was a crazy amount. I think from what Tim Polisic, if I can read between the lines, they're going to try and get him the football. He had 2 in the regular season finale against St. Thomas. That number 5 is going to get targeted quite a bit, and we'll see what nobody's been able to stop him. Illinois State did a little bit of bracketed coverage on him, but the one time they went one-on-one, you saw what happened. Peyton hit Bryce for that touchdown in the fourth quarter to finally get some separation in the game back in October. All right, so here are the matchups tomorrow. On the Bison side, obviously, with Illinois State, the Rhode Island UC Davis game is the late game. It's a 9 o'clock start. That's on ESPN2 if you can stay up tomorrow night. If the Bison win, they'll play the winner of that between the CAA and the Big Sky. Davis has been beset by injuries this season. I'd be hard-pressed to think Rhodey can go all the way across the country and win that game. They struggled with Central Connecticut State. Again, Rhode Island lost in this round last year to Mercer. We'll see if the Rams can make it a step further and make it into the quarterfinal round. The Villanova-Lehigh game is intriguing. That's an 11 a.m. start tomorrow. CAA against the Patriot League. Lehigh is unbeaten. They went through the regular season 12-0. And you'll ask me, well, who do they beat? Well, that's a great question. It's a mixture of nobody and somebody. Their wins this year, they beat Richmond, Sacred Heart, Duquesne, Bucknell, Penn, Yale, who's still in the tournament, Columbia, Fordham, Georgetown, Holy Cross, Colgate, and Lafayette. This will be, I would say, probably their second toughest game of the year. Yale was pretty good. They beat Yale by 18. I'm picking Villanova. I'm telling you that right now. I think Villanova is going to win that football game over Lehigh. I'd like to be surprised on that. The Mountain Hawks made it to the quarterfinals in 2011. You'll remember that. They came out here to play the Bison. And NDSU won that game en route to their first Division I championship. And then the game at the bottom there with UND and Tarleton, we've set that up earlier. Tarleton has had an electric offense all year long. But frankly, with the Texans, you can have the same question. Like, who did they play this season? They played Army. They lost to Abilene Christian. They beat Portland State, Mississippi Valley State. Those are terrible teams. Central Arkansas was bad this year. Chattanooga, Southern Utah in their own league was okay. Utah Tech, West Georgia, Eastern Kentucky, North Alabama, and Austin Peay, who they needed to beat in overtime in the regular season finale. Or I don't know where the Texans get seeded if they lose that game, because Austin Peay would have made it. Maybe would have knocked out an Illinois State or somebody like that. Again, you tell me the health of the starting quarterback, and I know Jared Kaminsky has not played well, frankly, since the South Dakota game. He was not good in that game. He was not good in the Bison game. So-so against Murray. Not great against the Jackrabbits. And he was not playing well until he got hurt against Tennessee Tech. Simon Rumfo, we have seen. I'm sure that they're confident he can go in and lead the offense, but it's a different deal without your starting quarterback. Gavin Zebarth being back is a big deal, though, for UND. That's a big game changer there because they have that thunder and lightning kind of deal and running back with him and Sawyer Seidel. So that's the one half. The other side could be chaotic tomorrow. Montana State is going to handle Yale. I believe that. I think the Bobcats are humming and ready to go. That they are, I think, now a 27-point favorite against Yale. They should win that football game. Abilene, I'm picking to beat Stephen F. Austin. I think I had this earlier. I think the Wildcats are even better than they were last year. This is a rematch of a game played earlier this year that Abilene won. Stephen F. went unbeaten in the Southland. We saw the Southland struggle with Southeastern Louisiana, how they played against Illinois State. I like the Wildcats there. Then the games at top. And I know our friends that watch us in South Dakota are teeming with excitement with a potential Jack Coyote rematch next weekend in the quarterfinals, which would be in Vermilion. Let's start with the game in Mercer. The Mercer Bears are better than they were last year. We saw Mercer come up here, lost in the quarterfinals when they were limited offensively. Their defense was pretty stout. Now, I don't know if they're as good defensively as they were last year, but they're still pretty darn good. Their quarterback, Braden Atkinson, can sling it. Now, South Dakota has been doubted all year since they got trounced here. And I mean, they got their butts kicked by the Bison. They ended up winning 8 games. If you would have told me that when they were leaving the Dome that day, I not would have believed that. But Travis Johansson did a nice job. They took advantage, frankly, of their schedule. They had the three bottom valley teams after that. It was Northern Iowa, Murray, Indiana State. They won those 3. Illinois State, though, came to Vermilion and won. But after that, they couldn't lose another game. Give credit to Aiden Bauman, L.J. Phillips, that defense. They beat UND. They beat the Jacks. They beat Southern Illinois in a game they had to have. And then last week they took care of Drake. It's a coin flip game. I think Mercer pulls this out. Wouldn't be surprised if USD wins. And then the game at the top with the Jacks in Montana. We all know with Chase Mason being back how much of a difference maker that is for South Dakota State. But Montana at home is a different animal in the postseason. The Bison found that out. Well, how many false starts do they have in that game, NDSU? I think 6 or 7. And I'm not trying to get into the trend there. But they had a ton of false starts in that game in Missoula in 2023. If they can handle that, that would be a huge feather in their cap because I think offensively they look different. Now, the latest depth chart says that Chase Van Tol, the great linebacker who got injured against the Bison, could potentially be back tomorrow for the Jacks. That's a big deal as well because Montana's defense is worrisome there, but they have some tremendous offensive skill players. Gilman, Wortham is really good. I'm going to go with the home team barely here. I think Montana wins this game. We got the email yesterday from our friend Dave in Minot on how successful the home teams have been in this round. I think a couple are going to win on the road. I think Abilene's going to win on the road. I'm leaning UND. If you're asking me how many Valley teams are left of the Final 8, I'll say 2. But don't be surprised if it's all 4 either. We'll find out come tomorrow at about 4 o'clock. We should know on the Valley teams who's moving on or not. More on that coming up later on in the show. All right, we're due for a break. We come back. You're going to meet the next maybe big thing in North Dakota high school football. Ray freshman Ty Barman will join us about getting an offer from the University of Minnesota this weekend. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns on this Friday morning. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Friday morning show off and rolling. Eric Issendorf from NDSCS will join us about a half hour. Wildcats getting ready for the National Junior Football Championship game coming up tomorrow. We'll preview that in just a little bit. But we were on the heels now of signing day. We put the class of 2026 to bed. We're looking at 27. I didn't know we were looking at the class of 2029 yet. Not until I got the heads up over the weekend that North Dakota 9-man school, we got another one on the radar. We've had a bunch of them pop up here over the last, I'd say, 7 to 10 years. Now Ray, North Dakota can stand up with our next guest. Ty Barman was at the Gopher Badger game on Saturday, and he walked away with an offer to play football at the University of Minnesota after his freshman year an all-state selection. He joins us this morning. First off, congratulations. Second, we were joking off air. Tell me what the last few days have been like since you made this public.
Oh yeah, it's kind of crazy. A lot of likes, a lot of follows, but going to school, it's been normal. It's good.
So give us the backstory on this. Obviously, you had a great year, your all-state selection. When did you hear from the University of Minnesota, and how did this come about?
Well, I got a game day visit about 4 weeks prior to the game, probably. And yeah, I was like, "Oh, I can't pass this time." So I go to the game, and it was fun. It was awesome.
So you're at the game. Are you in the back of your mind? Are you thinking that they're interested in you? Like, give me your thought process on this.
No, I was complete shock. I wasn't expecting an offer, but got one, and it was awesome.
So how did that come? Are you talking to Coach Fleck? Like, give me the layout of how the trip went.
Well, first get there, we go on a campus tour, and a few coaches talking to me about a dunk highlight I put together, and they're kind of hyping me up. And we get back to the recruiting room thing and get our measurables and stuff like that, and we sit down, and a coach comes over, and yeah, had a conversation with them, and that's kind of how it all went down.
And offered you a scholarship there?
Yep.
What was your reaction after that?
I was like, I was blind mode. I was like, me? You're gonna offer me? I had no idea. That's crazy.
What was the reaction with mom and dad when you told them that?
Well, my dad, he was really excited. My mom, I don't think she was really paying attention, so she didn't know, but she loved it too.
So, I mean, you got to be just over the moon. I mean, this is crazy. A Big Ten offer after your freshman year of high school football. Just how much has that, even in the last few days, changed maybe what your own personal thoughts were about what could happen with college football?
Oh yeah, it's definitely changed. I always thought, the end goal was basketball, but getting this offer definitely changes perspective, and hopefully get more.
Tell me about you on the football field. We were just watching some highlights from this year about where you played, and describe your game when you're out on the field.
Well, I would say I'm very physical, really fast. If I get it outside, it can be hard to catch me, but I'm not afraid to lower my shoulder too. So.
This year, you guys had, I think you finished 5-4. Tell me about the season for your team this year that you had this fall.
It didn't really go how we expected, but I think we could have won a few more games that we lost, and maybe even won the playoff game that wasn't necessarily close. But overall, it was pretty good freshman season.
So, I mean, you mentioned it's been pretty low key at school. I have to imagine now for when football comes around next year, this is going to be a whole different deal. People are going to know you now, right? You're not sneaking up on anybody now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How does that change your mentality of getting out there, knowing that this is going to be a different deal? You're going to be a marked man next year.
I don't think anything really changed. To just go out and play ball and show them that I belong.
You mentioned your basketball practice is underway. You thought was going to be you've been playing varsity since the 7th grade, so this is going to be your 3rd year of varsity basketball. Why has that been such a road to success for you? Why was hoops the thing you love the most? Maybe is the best way to ask it.
Well, I've been playing it since 1st grade, 2nd grade, and every summer we travel around the United States. Like this summer, I was in Vegas, Myrtle Beach. And I don't know, it just kind of been there, but who knows what I'll do in the future.
So has this changed your possible priorities of what you want to do?
Oh yeah, for sure, but it'll be a long process, and we'll just see where the path leads me, I guess.
I mentioned this tie off the start of the different small towns, in North Dakota. They're getting recognized. Kid in Stanley's getting SEC offers. Yourself now with the Big Ten. Describe that of seeing other small towns in North Dakota get big-time schools to come there to watch them play. What's that mean to you?
It's cool. I grew up big Walker Brown fan. Watching him at state tournament doing windmills and stuff. Ben Heenick now getting all those offers. He lives 30 minutes away from me, so I know those guys, and it's cool.
Do you feel like to have yourself in that company? Does that sound crazy when I say that you're in the mix with those guys now?
Yeah, if you would have told me that a year ago, I'd be like, really? Are you crazy? It's good.
So you mentioned life's been pretty normal. Nobody's giving you a hard time like, hey, I didn't know you were going to, can you describe what interaction's been like with teachers or your fellow students the last couple days?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty normal. A few buddies been joking and stuff like that, but yeah, other than that, it's been pretty low key.
Tell me about your team this year on the hardwood. What do we expect out of Ray this year?
Oh, hopefully we get to a state tournament. Haven't been there since 1990, only time, and yeah, it's gonna look good. It's gonna be good.
When you look at the teams you play, especially now in basketball, you're already a marked guy out there. Describe that, knowing double teams are coming your way. How do you adjust for that on a night-to-night basis?
Well, I know I have teammates that when I'm locked down, I know they can't lock down all of us. So I know as long as we share the ball, we'll be just fine.
And you open up. We were talking off air. You have Killdeer to start a week from tonight with a Class A school. How is that a good way to get ready for the season, knowing, hey, we're playing up a level to start the year?
Yeah, I don't think it's any different. We're just gonna go in with the same mentality. We're gonna show them that just because they're a class bigger, that doesn't really mean anything. We're gonna give them the best of us, and who knows what can happen.
Last thing before I let you go, and I appreciate you doing this, buddy, because I know you got to get back to class. Have other teams reached out, other football team, college teams yet, or has it been quiet after you announced your offer from Minnesota?
It's been pretty quiet. Got a few follows on Twitter and all that stuff, but yeah, really no other colleges reached out.
All right, well, keep our number here because we'll be following. But congratulations, good luck in hoops this year, and we'll chat down the road, okay?
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You got it. There he goes, Ty Barman joining us from Ray, North Dakota, offered by the University of Minnesota to play football this past weekend. That's, again, the craziness of how this all comes about. And it's so different than even 10 years ago. The amount of video that's out there that these kind of towns can now get that kind of offer. He mentioned Ben Heenek. We had Ben on this summer from Stanley, who's got Auburn. I was looking through his offer list. He had even a couple in NC State. I mean, we're talking out of Stanley, North Dakota, Ray, North Dakota. That you told me that even a couple years ago? No way. But that's where we're at with recruiting these days. And the state of North Dakota has got players that are popping up all over. Time to stand up and be recognize that for people that are maybe still putting their head in the sand about, well, only the good players are in Fargo or Bismarck or Grand Forks, Mandan, you name it. Nah, they're pretty much everywhere now. Our thanks to Ty for giving us a few minutes there. We'll be following that over the next little bit as well. All right, we'll break. We come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. We'll visit with Coach Izzy, Eric Issendorf, as NDSCS gets ready for its matchup in the JUCO National Championship game tomorrow. That's coming up in hour 2. Back on this Friday morning show right after this. All right, wrapping up our first hour. Our thanks to Ty Barman for giving us a few minutes. Be interested to see how that career goes over the next little stretch here. Let's get a few emails in before we wrap up our first hour of the show. This goes, Dom, other than a brief mention of Cole Payton's knee tweak prior to the end of the first half in the St. Thomas game, I've heard nothing about his status. Is he good to go as best you know? Yes. That's a simple answer on that. He was out running around at practice that we were at last Wednesday. Looked good there. I don't think there's any hesitation there. Number 9 is going to be ready to rock and roll tomorrow. The only injury concerns that we know of center on Josh Mangan, the starting right tackle, and Kelton McCaslin, starting defensive end. McCaslin missed the St. Thomas game with a thumb injury. Mangan got hurt in the St. Thomas game. Last that Tim Polisic told us, Mangan had not yet been out there. He was going to go on Wednesday to practice to see if he could go. If that does not materialize, it'll be the first time all year the offensive line will look different in terms of the starters for the game on Saturday. It would mean that Bo Johnson would move from left tackle to right tackle, and that Ryan Babbitts, the true freshman, would start at left tackle. Now, granted, Babbitts has played a ton at left tackle. They've moved Bo, and we had the story with Bo Johnson last night on the news that he's never played inside in his life. He's always been a tackle that he played guard, but in this case, if Mangan can't go, that you'll see Bo on the right side, which is Cole Payton's blind side for the game tomorrow. McCaslin, all indications are that he is going to club it up and play with the thumb injury for the game against Illinois State. Appreciate that. Another email. Dom, really enjoyed your discussion of Coach Kleiman the other day. All of us, administrators, coaches, players, media, fans, and alumni, are part of an utterly broken and rotten to the core system which incentivizes and rewards us to behave like Lane Kiffin. Coach Kleiman has chosen to disconnect himself from that, and I cannot express just how much I respect and admire him for making that difficult choice. He wore it on his sleeve, and we're going to hear from him tomorrow during our pregame show. I'm sure he'll elaborate maybe a little bit on that, certainly ask on what the last couple years have been like, because it's definitely been trying. And we've discussed it every day on this show of where we're at with college athletics, specifically football. And it ain't good. And there's no sign of anything slowing down on that. Only the fact that people are announcing they're going to the portal, except the portal doesn't open until January. That's the only difference on that. Let's see, a couple more here. Any update on attendance? There was some more tickets sold when I was looking on the Bison website. We'll do that before we wrap up the show this morning. But last year, this round, I think was 10,373. I think we're in that ballpark for tomorrow, which is way underneath what Polisic was hoping for. And I've already lamented it. I'm saving my best material for our pregame show tomorrow on that because I don't know what people are doing around here. We got some uniform news to chat about, which is always great. It's a Friday. Let's lighten things up a little bit. Not that we ever get too super serious on here. The Bison announced yesterday they're going the all green look is returning for NDSU's game tomorrow against Illinois State. They have not done this since USD, but they have done it in the playoffs each of the last 4 years. So the all green helmet, green jersey, green pants will be the look. So if you're going to the game, if you're one of the people, the few going to the game, they're telling you to wear green tomorrow. The other big uniform news came in the form of baseball, where the Brewers announced that they are wearing a new powder blue alternate uniform. Now, I have to ask, since we have our diehard Brewer fan running things, is this the new road jersey that they're wearing in 2026?
Yes.
I'm on board with that.
I like it. It's a throwback to like their 82 season.
Yep.
The only thing missing, and I will say this, if they do this, this will be the best uniform in baseball. Give me blue pants.
Oh, yeah.
That will be the
I'd
best
agree with
uniform
that.
in baseball, hands down.
What is on the sleeve I'm looking at? Is the outline of the state of Wisconsin?
Yeah,
is that
it's
what
the
that's there? Okay.
block M.
Okay. All right. And the hat is the one they were wearing this year? The blue. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you're right. If they were blue pants, then it would be over the top. That would be pretty good because the Rangers have done that. The Royals did that. It's like we're going back 40 years because everyone had powder blue in the 80s. The Twins did. The Phillies did for a bit. That was the way to go. That's pretty sharp. I'm on board with that. Does that mean they got rid of the other ones they used to wear? Are those done then?
Their City Connects?
Yeah.
No.
We can burn those, please.
No. Burn all the Jets uniforms because the Brewers uniforms top all those, and burn all the Mets because they top all those.
Oh, just very hostile this morning. I'm gonna tell you that I think the Jets are wearing their rivalry jerseys this weekend, which are the black ones. It's the Dolphins. It's a rivalry game, all right. Those are cool. I like those. But you're right. Blue pants would have made that over the top. All right, let's break. We come back. We'll start our second hour. We'll get ready for a national championship game tomorrow for the Science Wildcats. They're going to face the College of DuPage. We'll preview that with head coach Eric Issendorf. Will join us on the other side of the break. Hour 2 on a Football Friday. We'll start after this.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, ready to rock and roll here on a Football Friday. NFL picks with my dad about a half hour away. Looking forward to that. Let's get ready for a great football weekend. We mentioned earlier off the top, we've got the FCS second round ready to go. It's championship weekend in the big boy division and also in the junior college division. Tomorrow, North Dakota State College of Science will be facing off against the College of DuPage for the Junior College D3 National Championship game. Wildcats head coach Eric Issendorf joins one of our faves here on the day before the day for the game tomorrow. It's great to see you, bud. We were just talking off air because you haven't played a game in three and a half weeks. What have you been doing to get ready for this?
Well, we gave him a little bit of time off right after we won the region championship game. Just gave him some time to go home. We practiced a little bit where we could between that time and Thanksgiving. And then they went home for Thanksgiving, and then we picked it up again right away on Monday. So, just continuing the same process, right? Lift, go to school, get in the film room, get out and practice whenever we can. I think we only had one day where we had to be inside where it was a little bit too cold to get out. But we've just been making the best of our new turf, too. So it's been a good ride already.
That turf, I guess, but worth its weight in gold, I have to imagine, this time of year, right?
And worth its weight in gold. It was a godsend this year.
All right, so this is second time in 3 years, same team you're playing. How much can you duplicate what you learned a couple years ago for preparation for tomorrow?
Well, I think every game for, College of DuPage is a learning experience up until this point. And I think, that's why we scheduled the, home and home after our national championship game, because, ultimately you got to try to, dethrone the Kings. And, Chicago didn't do it to the Pistons for a minute. So, we got to get some games under our belt and understand, what we need to do to beat them. And I think we've, over the last 3 years, we've kind of got to this point where I really feel like we've got a team and the schemes to go and beat, the 4-time defending national champs.
How much just anticipate for the guys that get a shot at this again, knowing you're on this staff obviously a few years ago, to have another shot at this? What's the emotions about this for tomorrow?
Well, there's only one guy, Fernando Reese, who's with me on staff that was a part of that group. So, our staff has turned over, and obviously, in 2022, none of these guys were on campus. So it's a little bit different with the 4-year. You kind of, got a little bit longer lifespan to try to hit some of those specials. But, I think any coach can tell you, even the mighty Bison, right? It's not easy to get there every year. And, you start off with your goals at the beginning of the year, and, you got to have a little bit of luck and you got to have a good team and all those kind of things to get back to this point.
Eric, for people that don't follow this, after the region championship, are you thinking you're a lock to be number 2, or is that something that's completely subjective and you don't know, your season may be over after that game?
Well, I think, last year was subjective because, we had some other teams within the Division III that were, playing some higher level Division I JUCOs, and that ultimately won over us last year. And that's how we got to the Game 1 Bowl and went on to play Iowa Central, which I thought was a great experience for our kids, just to see what it's like at that top level. And then for me personally, when I was at NDSCS, our football team in 1992 played in at that time it was the RC Cola Bowl. That dates you a little bit, right? I think you can only find RC Cola in Dollar Generals and anymore. So,
all right. Yeah.
So it's kind of special for me too. Kind of going full circle after 30 some years of playing. So yeah, it's subjective. We have a conference, and then everybody else is independent, and so it's voted on by 6 regions, and you got to have the votes.
College of DuPage has won this 4 years running. What has made them the team to beat from your perspective at watching this team?
Well, I mean, they're just coached really well, and they've got the resources, right? I mean, they're the size of their school is 29,000, and we're right around 3. And so, and that's including our online.
Yeah.
Right. If you include their online, I think I heard they were over 40,000.
Holy cow.
So you imagine imagine the student fees that go into athletics, right? Like we're at NDSCS, we get student fees, which is it's a blessing for us, but it's not in the millions, it's in the thousands. So, they're in an area of the country where they get a wide area to recruit from in a small setting, the Chicago area. They don't have to travel too far outside their home grounds to get their players. But yeah, offensively, they just do a really good job of keeping you off balance with formations, motion shifts, and then they're a 50-50 run pass. So that creates some issues defensively. And then their defensive front is no joke. And I think that's the one thing that we've got to try to neutralize the most, I think, in the game, is just making sure we don't get in those third long situations where their DNs can kind of tee off.
This is the end of your 8th year coaching at Science. Has this been what you anticipated, the kind of success? Or has this even exceeded your expectations when you got the job?
No, I don't think it's exceeded. This is where we expect to be, and we expect to be here every year, and fall short here and there. But yeah, I think over the 8 years, and COVID was kind of a mess. But man, it's just been such a rewarding experience, and the wins and all the games and the experiences are great, but it's really working with the young, men and seeing them grow and develop. We had Nick Radens, Dylan's, younger brother here for a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got 2 kids and, was a youth minister for a little bit. Now he's, joining the police force down in the Twin Cities. And, you get to see those kind of successes and them building families, and then they're giving back. And it's just been it's been a phenomenal ride.
So I had Kevin Feeney in here last week chatting on obviously Moorhead's great run. You were part of that unbelievable staff in 2006, 2007 at Fargo South. Where how many head coaches are out of that now? 9, 10? How many guys are head coaches out of that staff?
Yeah, I mean, I would say 7 or 8. I think I was trying to count them. Poppinga, I think, is down in Sioux Falls. Troy Matter and Wayne Weremeyer, obviously Kevin. So I mean, I'm sure I'm missing J.O. J.O. was the head coach. Myself, which I never thought I was going to be a head coach, honestly. And it was great to be able to go back to my alma mater and become a head coach and just all those experiences. And then I think you got to go back to NDSU days with Bob Babich and Gus Bradley, Todd Wash, Scotty Hazelton. I mean, what an unbelievable, staff that I got to see as a young coach, just see in their 30s, right? And then you kind of see the last 20 years of what they've been able to do. And all these experiences, Concordia College, all of that is tied into my philosophy and what we've done. And then there's a little bit of gray area with the junior college level too. It's not as cut and dry as a scholarship program where you can just, cut a guy and bring another guy up. You got to, work with guys and make sure that they, can assimilate to, a different part of the country, different climate. Some guys are working jobs and maybe babysitting their brothers and sisters while their families are, parents are going to work. And now you got to go into a dorm environment and be a part of a community. There's just a lot of things that, a lot of variables in that. And being a junior college kid, I've been able to understand those things. And I think, bring this program up to where it should be.
Izzy, where do you get your guys from? Is it from all over the country? Or are you looking at a certain spot?
Yeah, I mean, over the course of the years, you run into coaches that, you find, a lot of good information from, and you kind of keep those guys close to you so that they're feeding you the guys. But we really try to stay, within our region as much as possible. And I think, especially at the O-line and D-line positions, those guys know how to play tough, physical, gritty football up front. And then being able to adjust to the cold weather, the wind, all the other variables, that makes a big difference when you're talking about offensive, defensive linemen. And then, you're trying to get a little bit outside your region, Chicago, Ohio. We've tried to dip into, Nebraska, Colorado a little bit. And then you just try to find, some difference makers down in the South. And that's got to be a good fit because, you're bringing them out of a very different environment. And, you got to have a really good relationship for them and trust even prior to. And probably the hardest thing to do is get them past moms. Moms doesn't want them to stray too far from home. And so you got to build a really good relationship with their families too.
All right. So tell me, for people that haven't been down to Wahpeton to see a game, the mention the turf off the top, how much has that just changed everything? Because I remember covering games there. Heck, when you got to October, that field was toast. How different is this now?
I mean, it's just a game changer just for even all of us in the Southeast region of the state. And I think that as time goes on, you'll start to see, I think, more high school playoff games getting played on that turf facility. And that was one of the things that we tried to, sell to the people that, that put up the money for it, was this is going to benefit everybody, not just football. Now you look just within the athletics part. Now, baseball and softball have a place to, hit grounders instead of the parking lots and inside the arena and into the nets and all those kind of things. We have women's soccer now. They're utilizing that space. And even, like our intramurals, flag football and playing under the lights, just giving kids different experiences of campus life. So it hasn't just affected our football team or Wahpeton High School's football team. It really has impacted our whole community and our campus.
All right, so I have to ask the question every reporter asks a football coach. Do you need a fast start tomorrow to win this game?
Fast start and fast finish, always. Yeah. I mean, we have to really play a clean game. There's some things that they're going to have over our head. Number one being home field advantage, right? I mean, they play on their home turf. But we told our kids, like anytime, any place, anywhere. And if you're going to say that, then you got to mean it, and you got to be able to walk into the belly of the beast and go and give it to them. And, I think, we obviously in any ball game, you got to be able to control the controllables, just not beat yourself with turnovers and penalties. I think if we can play a clean game, or at least, make a push within both of those things, I think, we have the firepower on offense, not just in the running game, but also at the wide receiver position. And I think Jacob Maddock has really come on here. I think he maybe just needed a little bit of a rest, and he looked really sharp in practice. So I think we can take some advantages down the field. If we just got to thread the needle, and guys got to our playmakers need to step up and make plays when those things happen. And then offensively, you're going to see a lot of 11 and 12 personnel, a lot of formation shifts, trades, motions, things like that. Our brand of defense is just, really try to win at the front. And then, our secondary has been, dynamite over the last couple of weeks, facing Minnesota West with a high powered offense and a unbelievable quarterback, probably national player of the year, in my opinion. He was just outstanding. And then, RCTC, with their air game. And I thought our guys, our two slot corners, and if you want to call them that, defended the second ranked offensive player in our region, and they held him to no catches in the region final. And then their tight end is committed to Idaho. We have a kid from Spearfish, South Dakota. He held him to one catch, and we force fumbled him and turned the ball over on him. So our secondary is playing outstanding football right now, and same with our front. I think it all goes together. And then special teams, Rin Olsen has been phenomenal for us, and that's kind of been, my Achilles heel in my tenure here is just not making the extra points or the field goals when needed.
Yeah.
And he buried a few in that region championship game early just to get that 6-0 lead and against windy, cold weather conditions. So, we're really, I think, is about as well-rounded as we've been since 2022.
It's great to see you, man. With seeing Breck make the state championship, you guys having a run. Southeastern North Dakota, that part of the world, Wilkin County's having a heck of a run with football this year.
Yeah, we do it pretty well down there too, man. We're not the only team in the state, and we're trying to win a national championship and not be the only one hanging out here not with one. So we're going to give it all we got, and I appreciate your giving me the opportunity to come and talk about our team.
Absolutely, man. It's great to see you. Good luck tomorrow, and be well. We'll talk soon, okay?
Appreciate it. Go Cats.
Eric Issendorf joining us, NDSCS head football coach. Wildcats and the College of DuPage tomorrow at noon. You can watch the game. It's on ESPN Plus tomorrow for the D3 Junior College National Championship. The Chaparrals, they've won 4 titles in a row. That's what NDSCS is facing tomorrow. Highlights of that are our news coming up tomorrow at 6 and at 10. All right, we'll break. We come back. Got a couple other things to get into. We got picks coming up with my dad in about 15 minutes as well. Back on a Friday morning edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Good stuff there with Izzy. Known Eric forever as part of that. He mentioned that Fargo South staff of 2006, 2007. Kevin, obviously, head coach. Mattern was there. The late, great J.O. was there. Jason Thielges. I think John Freeman was there on that staff, who came up head coach at Richland. Obviously, Izzy was there. I'm missing probably at least two others I'm sure I'm going to hear from when the show is done. But that was quite a staff that's gone on to do some pretty good stuff. And we'll be keeping our eyes on that one tomorrow as part of a huge football Saturday that's going down over the next 24 hours. Looking forward to that. Let's get a couple more in that we didn't get yesterday. Dom, I know the game is on ESPN Plus, but will WDAY also be broadcasting? No, unfortunately not. We're not allowed to do that. So it'll be ESPN Plus for tomorrow. And that's all the games outside of the Davis, Rhode Island game. And if you're asking me, well, why does that game get special treatment? Because they're playing it at 9 o'clock at night because they can do that. It's 7 o'clock in California. So they can make room for that on their schedule tomorrow because ESPN has either football or basketball on, and we'll just get ready for that now because if the Bison keep advancing, that's what they're going to be tap dancing around over the next couple weeks. Knowing next week the only football game is the Army-Navy game and the Celebration Bowl, then ESPN has got that set aside for an FCS quarterfinal game, and then ABC is swooping in to take a game. You remember last year, the Mercer NDSU game got over 1 million viewers simply because it was on ABC. That's what, if NDSU wins tomorrow, that's what they're hoping for. Like, hey, get them, and certainly we're hoping for that too. The game's on WDAY. That's as easy as it gets for our viewers that are used to watching us. But yeah, for tomorrow, it is streaming only on that. And I have my own questions on why that's the case, because looking tomorrow for the big boy games, ESPN, it will be televising the MAC championship at 11, and then nothing after that. They got basketball the rest of the day. I get it, but we couldn't have a football game on? Nothing? Also, we now know the schedule for what may be the craziest TV day of the year. December the 20th, because the NFL announced for that Saturday, it's 2 weeks from tomorrow, that the Eagles Commanders are going to play at 4 o'clock on Fox. And then the Packers and the Bears will play at 7:30 that night on Fox. Why that's important? Because that's the night of the FCS semifinals. One of the games will be on ABC at 3, and the second game is on ESPN2 at 6:30. What also is going on that day is the college football playoff first round. ABC is going to have a game on at 11, and then TNT has the later games at, I think, at 3:30 and it's 7:15. So they're going right up against the NFL. That's why TNT has them and not ABC, because a partner of the NFL would never do that to air college football games. But we got to figure this out. Because, yeah, as a football fan, it's great. I got so much I don't even know what to do with. But we know what's going to win the rating battle that day. Packers-Bears is not a small football game. That's going to get a ton of... If you saw the ratings that came out this past weekend for Thanksgiving, the Chiefs-Cowboys game had 52 million people watching. It's a boat race anytime anything goes up against it. So you got to... If you're college football, you got to work here and say, all right, maybe can we play on Friday and Thursday? At this point, because you're having 2 weeks off anyway, or some more than that if they're not playing in the championship games this weekend. This is part of the whole conversation about getting earlier in the year, getting away from the NFL deal. Because we're talking, the first round is on, December the 20th? The championship game is until January the 20th. What are we doing? We're all for having football later, but come on. That's so long of playing a college football season. We're starting camp on July 22nd, 23rd. I mean, now we're talking a 6-month season. That's part of the whole deal we're talking about. Why Kleiman was as frustrated on it that the calendar is just completely bleeped up. And you'll see it here. College football has been hard-headed about this. We're going to schedule the games here and be damned if we have to go against the NFL. And that has not gone well. What do you got for me?
So that week we can't play the college games on Thursday because the NFL has Amazon Prime at night. But why couldn't we go like a Monday, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Or eliminate conference championship games altogether because they mean absolutely nothing anymore because basically everybody outside of BYU and Alabama are already in the playoffs. Because if Bama loses, I think they're out.
The amount of money that is attached to those games is going to make it awfully, awfully hard for them to get rid of the conference title games unless they replace them with more playoff games and they move it up earlier. That would be be
go
it
to
there.
A 16 game.
Maybe. I don't. I mean, the FCS were already there for the teams that are going to be there.
Like, because conferences are so spread out, like with 20 teams in each conference. Why can't we have? All right, let's say Big Ten and SEC are going to get 4 each. Why can't we have one play 8, two play 7?
You're making too much sense, man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then the winner of those games are in the playoff.
Well,
you lose that game, you're done.
Well,
then we set our bowl schedule and go from there.
Yeah, that makes too much sense for them to do that. I hear you. I'm not sure where we're going. It's not a spot that anybody really likes right now. I think every coach is like, we're way into the second semester is not a good deal. January 2nd used to be the end of the season. Now it's January 20th, which is wild. All right, let's break. We come back with time to pick some winners to wrap up the week. My dad's coming up. We'll see who he's got in store to win this weekend. We'll do that on the other side of the break. Back after this.
If that was me and you, if you'd have went with a Boston, you'd have been living in the garage. I had a Yankee hat on, of course, which I usually almost always do, but she says to me, if I were you, I'd take that hat off. And I looked at look at it to begin with. I ain't taking my hat off. I know where I am. Yeah, right.
You believe anything that guy says? Because I don't.
He said he was going to marry J-Lo, too, remember? I finally told your mom. I said, there's no sense. Let's just put TVs in the room because I'm only going to wake them up anyway. So
that's how I got a television?
All right, it's that time here on a Friday. Pops is here to wrap up the week in style. What's up, Dad? How we doing?
Doing good. I'm good.
We got some good news this morning, huh? You had your latest scan?
Yep, everything good so far.
Everything clear?
Yeah, that's what it says.
All right, let's go. That's the kind of news we need here to start the morning.
I talked to the doc Wednesday, and he'll let me know everything, but the portal shows everything looks good.
So this time the portal is good news. No, we talk about the portal all the time on this show.
Yeah.
Normally it's not great, but it's good news here for Dad. That's awesome.
Yes, it is good.
So I don't know if you know this. Right after the show is done, the World Cup draw is today, and we're going to find out who's playing who. The only reason I bring this up is you have to tell the soccer story of when you came to visit me so many years ago of when the United States was playing a match in the World Cup. Will you care to share what you did to my apartment that day?
You went down because they were delivering furniture or something. Me and your sister were upstairs waiting. And USA scored a goal, and I went out on the balcony to tell you and forgot the screen was closed and went right through the screen. And they scored.
You've never been that excited about soccer in your life. Ever.
I never will be again. I'd rather watch paint dry.
There was a knee-size hole in my screen as I'm getting a new couch delivered that day. Never.
I don't know why. Why'd you close the screen? You shouldn't have closed it.
You're not letting bugs in the house. Come on. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Your sister will never forget it.
No, she was crying laughing on that one. There's no doubt. The man literally has never cared about soccer that much ever. But for that one instance, it got him there because we scored. So there you go. But yeah.
That was your fault.
Did you know we're hosting it this summer? Did you know that? The World Cup is
I
in the
did. Okay. I did see something about that. But Where is it? L.A.?
Everywhere. New York,
Oh.
L.A., Dallas. It's all over. Not Minneapolis, unfortunately. Should have come here, but yeah, they got it all over the place. So, yep. So there you go.
It's not the first time though, right?
No, it's 1994 was the last time we had it. So it's been a little bit. So that's coming. I know you'll be glued to the TV all summer long on that.
I'll have all of them running just to make sure I don't miss nothing.
Speaking of not missing anything, did you make the end of the game last night?
No, I did not.
It was actually a long game. I didn't get over to like 10:30 our time. So
What was the final? I don't remember. I knew Dallas was getting
it was 44-30. Detroit won. So,
oh, Jesus.
Yep. So
I knew I kind of figured over was going to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't even play it.
So the Lions are still in it. Cowboys are probably out now after the loss there. So
I think they were out in week 5. So.
I don't know. Well, hey, they just beat Philly and Kansas City back-to-back weeks. Dallas did.
Yeah.
So I mean, they got some.
Well,
hope there.
without Lamb last night, I knew they'd be in trouble.
That was tough. So
he looked like he hit his head pretty hard.
Pretty hard, no doubt. All right, you want to brag here? You think you said you were 11-5? 11-5 last week?
11-5 straight up.
Ooh, all right.
I'm
we
sure
go.
I didn't have my points on there. I don't know what happened there, but
Well, if people listen to you, they made some money last week. So
the Jets screwed me by winning.
What are you talking? I told you they were going to win.
Yeah, you say that every week. And they've won
I do
3
say
games
that, but
so
you know
far.
what? No, 3. They won 3, and
That's what I said, 3 games.
they're always good to cost themselves draft position. So they'll probably
All
win
the
one
time.
more and have to pick 5 or 6 in the
They
draft.
win at the end of the year just to screw themselves.
That's exactly right. Well, there's no quarterback to take this year anyway, so that's fine because we don't have one as it
Oh,
is. So.
there's none coming out at all.
Not like a lock. Like this is absolute. No, there's not.
What's Manning got? One more year?
He's got another one. Yep. So Arch is not going to probably come out till 2027. So yeah.
Oh, he shouldn't. He's still got a lot to learn.
Yep. So all right, you want to do this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's do some picks here. Let's start with the red hot New York Jets, winners of 1 in a row. Rivalry game with the Miami Dolphins on Sunday.
Give me Miami.
You didn't even give me the spread here.
It's -3. I got.
All right. Got the Dolphins.
I'll still
beat my
take
Jets.
Miami.
All right. Well, we're due. We lost to the Dolphins early this year, so we're going to get them.
You might split one, but
we always do. The Seahawks are 9-3. They're rolling. They are at Atlanta with your guy Cousins playing quarterback. Seattle's a 7-point road favorite.
yeah, give me Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle's humming right now. The team you don't want to see is Cincinnati. They went and beat Baltimore on Thanksgiving. Joe Burrow is back. They are at Buffalo. The Bills are all sorts of banged up. No Joey Bosa playing this game, evidently, for Buffalo. Is a 5.5-point favorite at home.
What happened to Bosa?
I just saw it. He came through. He's not playing. So the Bills' top 2 defensive guys are out for this game.
Give me the Bengals. With
Okay, there he goes. Cincinnati. What if I told you they're going to win that division?
Well, I don't think so.
Come on now, they still have to play the Steelers. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know.
Your guys
I
all
ain't
beat
looking
up
forward
right
to that
now.
one.
Under over how many people will watch the Titans and the Browns Sunday? Combined 4 wins between these two teams. Cleveland is a 4.5-point favorite against the 1-win Titans. Yikes.
Give me the Browns.
Somebody's got to win that game. I don't know how many people are going to watch, but you got Cleveland.
They've only won, what, 2 games?
Cleveland's won 3.
3. Who's got the worst record?
The Titans do. The Titans have 1 win. That's what the Jets are fighting. We're way behind here. And the Giants only have 2 wins. So that's what we're fighting here. The Commanders only have 3 wins. They're at Minnesota, who has 4. The Vikings haven't scored a touchdown in 2.5 weeks, and yet they're a favorite. Minnesota is a 1.5 favorite to pick them at home against Washington.
Yeah, give me Washington.
Okay, he's got the Commanders.
Sorry, Kerry.
It is not good now for the Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikes look terrible.
Not good. When you can't score a touchdown in 2 games, that's usually not good. The Saints only have 2 wins as well. God, there's a lot of bad teams here. The Saints are at Tampa. Your guy Baker is battling it out with a bad shoulder. Tampa Bay is an 8.5-point favorite at home against New Orleans.
I'm going to take the Bucks.
Tampa is getting healthy too. That might be a team that you don't want to mess with in the playoffs.
They're a scary team.
Yep.
So they play out the whole quarter.
They do. They play tough. Yep. Battle for first in the AFC South. This is a good one. Colts at the Jags. Each are 8-4. The winner will have first place. Indianapolis is a 1.5 favorite. Daniel Jones is playing on a broken leg for the Colts, though, right now.
I know, that's crazy. They're starting to play like the Colts, though. So give me the Jags.
Sam will love you said that. All right.
Sorry,
Jacksonville minus a 1.5 there for that one. All right. The Steelers and the Ravens for first place in the AFC North. Baltimore. Lamar didn't practice yesterday. We don't know what's going on.
He's a prima donna. He only does what he wants to do.
Your guy's got a broken face. Did he broke his nose the other time against the Bills?
Yeah, he got the helmet came right down on his nose.
That didn't look good.
No.
They got fire Tomlin chants are going through the stadium. What's going on with your team?
They're coming apart at the seams.
It's not good. And you're still picking them, of course.
Oh, yeah, I got to pick them.
He's got Pittsburgh.
Especially against the Ravens.
Plus 5.5 on the road against Baltimore. All right, to the late games. The Broncos at the Raiders. Denver has won 9 in a row. They're a 7.5-point favorite in Vegas.
And they've barely won 7 in a row.
Hey, they've won them, though, man. You got to give it to them.
I know. I'm going with them. Give me the Broncos only because it's the Raiders.
First place on the line in the NFC North. The Bears are at Lambeau to play the Packers. Green Bay won on Thanksgiving. The Bears looked awesome in their win against Philadelphia. Green Bay's a 6.5-point favorite at home against Chicago.
I can't believe they're giving them 7 points.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears.
All right, he's got Chicago plus 6.5.
I know your buddy's.
Eric's not going to love that. No,
he ain't happy.
He's got his Packers shirt on. He's
ask him if he wants to go to lunch again. He's already owed me 3 of them. What's one more?
Just racking them up, apparently. Oh, man.
I hear him. What's he say?
He said you got to show up for you to bring him, so you got to come back. That's the deal. So
I'll be there.
Hey,
I'll meet him at Herd and Horn.
There's plenty empty seats at the Bison game. You can come to that. Rams at the Cardinals. Rams are an 8.5-point favorite there after they lost to Carolina that cost them first place overall in the NFC.
I can't believe that one.
Bad loss there.
Crazy, man. I'll go with the Rams.
Rams there, minus 8.5.
I guess you got to have a clunker.
Yeah, that was it.
So that was it for sure.
Sunday night, this is a must-win for both teams. The Texans at 7-5, who just beat Indianapolis, at Kansas City. The Chiefs can't afford any more losses. They are right now in 9th in the AFC. They're at 6-6. Kansas City is a 3.5-point. They got them right where they want them. This is exactly. They're going to go and win their last 5. I firmly believe that. That's going to happen.
I don't doubt it, but this one's going to be the toughest.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs, though. Texas defense is incredible.
Houston's D is legit. They're really good.
Yeah.
Can they somehow get a couple stops on Mahomes? Monday night should be a good one. Philadelphia at the Chargers. More importantly, it's the Monsters Inc. game. I know it's important in our house that they're doing the Monsters Inc. telecast to go along with the main game. So if you want, like they did the Toy Story game, the Slime game, we got this on Monday night. The Eagles are a 2.5-point. Have you watched Monsters Inc. with Sophie yet? It's pretty good. You'd like it.
Why would they do it on a school night when it don't even start till 8 o'clock?
They can have some kids stay up late. Jackman will stay up a little bit later to watch this one.
I'm going to call to make sure he's up.
You do.
Give me the Chargers.
Chargers plus 2. We don't know. Trey Lance may start. Justin Herbert has got a broken wrist with his non-throwing hand. He was out practicing yesterday. So
he's Rodgers can do it. I can do it. That's what he's going to say. He's a toughie though.
He never comes out of the game. He never does. Yeah. I'd love to see Trey start, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
Chargers plus 2.5 there. Buys to the Patriots, Giants, Niners, and Panthers this week. Do you want to take the action on the game tomorrow? The Bison are given 23.5 tomorrow. I see what you're wearing.
I wear my green. I got the memo. How much they give us?
23.5 tomorrow. That's a lot of points against a team in their own league, man.
They're going to throw it up because they want, what's his name? They break the touchdown record.
Bryce Lance, you're talking about?
Yeah. So they're gonna pound it to him. Okay. I'll go with the Bison.
Wow, all right. That's a lot of points.
Now take the over, whatever that is.
Under-over is 52.5. You hammer that?
Woo! Wow, that's a lot
That's
of
a
points.
lot of points.
Yeah, I'll throw
Well, they average 40 a game, so I mean, no, one time they were under 30 points. So,
well, the whole thing there is the other team has to score.
Illinois State.
Otherwise, you're not going to. You'll hit that.
We'll see. Their defense, Bison defense, has been pretty darn good.
Are they capable of scoring?
I think so. I think it's going to be a game for a bit, but I think the Bison will probably pull away in the second half, just like what happened the first time around. That's what I think is going to happen. So,
yeah. Well, you never know, right?
Email comes in before we got to go to ask your dad, how did the hunt go? How did it go?
Not good. Not good. I think I've seen 2 deer all year long. Terrible. I think our winter last year really hurt us.
Oh, man.
Because we're not seeing, even my cameras aren't going
Nothing?
off like they usually do. Man. No. We got a few, but just not a lot.
All right.
Ain't over. I still got a few days left.
All right. Good luck. Be careful out there. I love you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay?
All right, man. I love you too. Have a good call.
There he goes. My Pops with his NFL picks. Do it each and every Friday to wrap up the week. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll get you ready for a fantastic sports weekend. And we'll wrap things up on a Friday morning edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra right after this. Oh, the Eliminator intro. Do we have a winner? Is it over? Oh, it's over. Well. There it is. Now I know why you wanted to bring it up in the show. Sam took the Rams to win. They lost to the Panthers. Eric had the Broncos by virtue of their win last week. You have won. Congratulations. Give Spike the football. It might be your only win this weekend.
I had to redeem myself after losing to a 6-year-old and picking the Bills to beat the Patriots. I should have known better.
All right. Well, there you go. So you've got 16 hours of my PTO. What are you going to do with it now? You're not going to take off the show. Better not be for that.
I don't even know what I'm going to do yet. I got vacations planned for next summer already.
Oh, there you go. Congratulations. There he goes. So there it is. We are done with our Eliminator Challenge for 2025. We'll do that again next year. That was a ton of fun. And hopefully we get some more people involved in it as well. So congratulations to Eric on that. We got a ton to get to here and what to watch, which we'll rock and roll here in a second. Just a quick word here. We got a bunch of viewer shout-outs this week. I really appreciate it. Everyone that watched the show, we had a lot of feedback. We're working hard. We have fun here every day, but I really appreciate the people that watch. I had a couple that reached out to me at the basketball game on Wednesday night. Means a lot, and we appreciate your viewership and engagement with the show. Makes it fun every 2 hours. We do it each and every day. All right, let's do some what to watch before we get out of here. What to watch brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. Okay, here we go. We got high school hoops tonight. The EDC season begins. North Dakota Big School basketball. Minot and Horace is live tonight at 7 right here on WDAY Extra. In the Heart of Lakes on WDAY 2, we've got DGF and Hawley. That's at 7:30 tonight, those games. So here we go. Basketball season has arrived. Those games you'll see live coming up tonight on Extra and on WDAY2. Also going on tonight, North Texas and Tulane. That's for the American Championship. Winner likely gets a spot in the college football playoff. That's on WDAY at 7. The Sun Belt Championship is Troy and James Madison. If JMU wins, they're likely in the CFP. That's on ESPN. UND hockey tonight against St. Cloud State on NCHC TV. Again, a reminder, the Bison game tomorrow at noon on ESPN+. We've got game day, though, for you, 10 a.m. live inside the Dome on WDAY at 10 o'clock. Also, we've got tomorrow night Bison men's basketball, North Dakota State against Northern Arizona. Join us at 7. We're going to race over from the Dome over to the Shack to bring you some hoops tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Also going on this weekend, the Jackson, Montana. That's on ESPN Plus at 1. The Big Ten Championship at 7 between Indiana and Ohio State. And, yeah, the Vikes and the Commanders at noon on Fox. We got to roll. Our thanks to Ty Barman, to Eric Issendorf, of course, to my dad. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you at the Dome tomorrow and back here on Monday.